Over the last few decades, companies have learned how to deploy forms of mind control in order to encourage you to spend money on things you don't actually need. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 mind hacks you can use to rewire the way you think about spending, which will hopefully mean you have more money left over every month to invest and to get you on a path to building financial freedom. Number 1, ignore pay rises. You may be familiar with Parkinson's law, and that is the principle that demand will expand to consume all available resources. So if you had 5 weeks to complete a project, you'll take up 5 weeks to do it. You'll have a few breaks, you'll be pretty inefficient, but you'll take up the full 5 weeks. Whereas if you gave yourself 5 days to do it, you'd be super focused, super efficient, and you still get it done. So work expands to consume all available time, and you can use the same concept when it comes to money. Your spending will expand to consume all available money. So whether you're earning 50,000 or 100,000, your expenses will keep increasing to consume all available money. But the amount of money we make doesn't need to equate to the amount we're spending. So if you're earning 60,000 a year and you're comfortably making ends meet, you're not struggling, and then you get a pay rise and it increases to 80,000. Most people at this stage are going to think, okay, I have another 20,000, another extra 20,000 to upsize my lifestyle. But you need to pay yourself first. Let that difference, or the majority of that difference, be the amount you put into your savings account straight away from day one, as soon as it comes in. I read a comment on one of my previous videos and I really liked the way it was explained, and I'll leave a screenshot on this video. But the idea is to think about what you can comfortably afford and then buy things that are at a lower price point. So if your mortgage allows you to borrow £5,000 a month, don't then go and buy a house where the mortgage is £5,000 a month. Buy one which is £3,000 or £4,000 so that you have the mental ease and you're not stretching yourself thin. If you do this, you're still going to be fine. You will still exist. You will just reap the rewards in the future. Number 2, thinking in terms of hours worked. The most valuable currency we all have in our lives is time. Nothing can replace that. There is no amount of time that you can buy, and you will never get it back. So when I had income coming in through just my corporate job, I used to think of my spending in terms of hours worked. So how many hours do I need to work post-tax, not pre-tax, to be able to afford that thing? And thinking like this made me not waste my money on things that I will regret later. Because for me, and I'm not saying this is the same for everyone, but for me, I like to spend my hard-earned time on anything that is related to financial freedom, mental or physical health, or thirdly, on education and learning in some way. Others may want to spend their hard-earned time on other things. It might be fashion, it might be cars, it might be watches, whatever it is. Check in with your priorities and what is important to you, and whether whatever you're spending on deserves those hours that you worked for it, or whether it's better spent somewhere else that would give you a better return on happiness versus time spent. Number 3, add an emotional response to not buying it. We often have emotional attachments to items that we want to buy. But what I've started doing recently is adding an emotional response to why I want to save. And for me, it's made living below my means so much easier because it's attached to a bigger picture and a wider meaning. What I used to do every year when my bonus came through is spend that paycheck straight on a new item, a designer bag, a designer belt, something to escape the monotony of life every now and again, and to justify to myself why I'm working so hard on something that doesn't necessarily fulfill me. And in the first few years of work, I got so excited about the extra money and all the things that I could potentially spend it on. Now, I still have that emotional response of excitement, but the excitement is how I can use that money to get me closer to the things that I want, which is financial freedom, working on my own terms, traveling as much as I want. That is what excites me now, and having an emotional attachment to that makes living below my means so much easier. I often hear people say that if you're chasing financial freedom or if you're focused on saving too much, you're going to miss out on living your life in the here and now. And I personally don't think it needs to be one or the other. I used to live paycheck to paycheck and spend all my money on things that I didn't need. And fast forward 5 years, even though I'm spending way less, I'm way happier than I was 5 years ago. So you can still very much enjoy your life whilst living below your means. And for some people, that mental peace and feeling of accomplishment, whatever it is, may actually be their way of living life to the fullest. There's this quote that I heard, and it's use the weekend to build a life that you want, not to escape the life that you have. And now I view money in a similar way. For me, that emotional attachment to not splurging out today for my future self makes me happy. It overrides any temptations that I have. Number 4, sleep on it for 7 days. So much of our spending is based on impulse purchases. The way marketing companies work at the moment is to satisfy our need for instant gratification. There's Apple Pay, there's Amazon Prime, one-click buy, there's contactless purchases. It makes spending mindlessly so much easier. And as a society, we demand instant gratification, and that is what has been created around us. The problem is if you fall into the temptations of instant gratification, this can very easily deplete all your savings. Marketing companies, they have specific teams and huge budgets that are dedicated to getting you to buy, and the amount of detail that goes into this is way beyond what you and I can even comprehend. These companies track everything. What emails made you buy? What emails didn't make you buy? What emails were most successful in terms of sales? And based on that, you'll get a similar email next time. There are so many details that go into trying to make you shop. So now I've made it a rule that if I want to spend more than usual on something, and I've never thought about buying that thing before, then I would give myself 7 days before I actually commit to buying it. And then after that 7 days, either I've forgotten about it, which is great. I obviously didn't want it that bad, or I still think about it. And in that case, I will actually go ahead and buy it. So just by giving yourself some time and space to think rationally could save on unnecessary spending and splurges. Number 5, listen to the narrative you are feeding yourself. The 5th mind hack to save more money is to eliminate temptations and be more conscious around the messages and the signals that you are feeding into your mind on a daily basis. The rise of social media makes it so much easier for us to compare our lives with what we're seeing online, comparing our lives to what everyone else is up to, where they're going, what they're eating. And all of this, it just feeds into the fear of missing out culture. So it's important to be mindful of whether spending on that thing is actually what you want and it fits into your narrative, or it's just an excuse or a part of trying to fit into the social norm. Take back control over what you're feeding your mind, the profiles you're choosing to follow, the articles you're choosing to read, the friends you keep close to you. Believe it or not, all of that is in your control. It takes a little bit of willpower, but it is fully in your control. I want to emphasize that everything I say on this channel is just what works for me and what I'm doing. Some people might find spending money on new designer bags that makes them happy. Some people might find spending money on traveling makes them happy. Some people might find saving money and doing nothing with it gives them peace of mind and in turn makes them happy. This is just my journey and what makes me happy, and I am speaking about the changes I'm making to build a certain life for myself and for the future without compromising on the here and now. Maybe it'll pay off in the long run, maybe it won't, but that's what this channel is for, to take you on my journey, whatever happens, so you can see my way of thinking, my thought process on why I'm doing certain things a certain way, why I'm not doing other things, and everything is openly said on this channel, and it's for you to take bits of information that you agree with and leave anything else that you don't like behind. If you are on a saving marathon, then you may also enjoy another video that I have on things I no longer buy and I've cut out my life and it hasn't made any difference to my life. I'll link that here for you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in my next video.